Hello, my beloved. First of all, I want to apologize for not having posted podcasts for some time now. I haven't done so since I went to Orthodox MontanaCon. I've been very sick since returning from Montana. I seem to have picked up COVID on my way, and I returned and unfortunately spread it to my monastic community. So everyone is pretty much recovered except me. I'm on the mend though. So I'm going to attempt to do a blog, YouTube video, podcast, whatever we call these things. My mind is not that clear right now. I want to share with you, first of all, how my heart goes out to all around the country who have been suffering from renewed shootings. All these young people that are killing, sometimes mass shootings that are taking place. I look at all of that and I wonder if we have any concept as to why this is happening to this generation. This generation that we have deprived of faith. This generation that is filled with anger and resentment. This generation that is so self-consumed that it's all about them and they could care less about their neighbors or their friends. So they go on rooftops and they shoot innocent people and children. While I was in Montana for Orthodox MontanaCon, I was very, very moved by the sight of about 150 young men from around the country, all of them seriously committed to orthodoxy, seriously realizing that this society that we have that has gone woke has not helped in any way, has not given them anything except guilt. White guilt, white privilege as they've been told they have, and no hope for the future. I read recently that only 40% of young men are even bothering with college because they don't feel welcome in university settings. This is a tragedy. But in some ways it might be an awakening because so many are realizing what is really missing in their lives is Christ and faith. So they are turning to the Orthodox Church. There are some that would suggest that it's because Orthodoxy attracts white supremacists, which is totally ignorance, total ignorance, to say such a stupid thing. These are people that are hungering for truth. They know instinctually that probably the only place they're going to find truth is in Christ. But then they look at the churches that are out there. Churches that have sold their souls to wokeness, to leftist thinking. They look at a society that is demanding that everyone use non-gender binding talks about themselves. How can we live in a society that has come to believe that someone born biologically male is now capable of calling himself a female? How can we live in a society that would allow athletes who are male gender stand against women swimmers and win because they call themselves non-binary or women by choice? and we let them get away with it. This is just pitiful. So is it any wonder that serious young men seek out the one church that has stood firm with the biblical teachings about what it means to be a man and what it means to be a woman? It doesn't mean that we are white supremacists or racists to think so. It means that we believe, as Americans have always believed, in freedom of thought and freedom of expression. And yet we have a government telling us that we do not have that freedom anymore. And that if we dare speak out against any of the wokeness that is amiss out there, that somehow we are failing our lives as real Americans. We're betraying evilness and hatred in our hearts. I can tell you that none of the young men that I met in Montana are full of hate. I am not full of hate. I don't judge anyone. I don't judge those who declare themselves to be gay or transgender. It's not my business to judge anyone. The scriptures make it clear that I can only judge myself and that I have to judge myself harshly. For as St. Paul said of himself, I am the worst of sinners. But what I am not going to do is to sit by idly and in silence while these young people of today suffer accusations and cruelty at the hands of people who have sold their souls to Marxism. The only answer to the world's problems is to be found in Jesus Christ. That is the truth of it all. And for those who fail to realize that, all I can do is pity them and pray for them. So, my friends, let us bind ourselves and one another to Christ our God. Let us stand firm in our Orthodox faith, knowing that the Church is the only bastion for universal absolute truth, and that ultimately all of this will come to an end with the return of Christ to judge both the wicked and the dead. May God make it so.